everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we will be reacting to another episode of Spy Family. Specifically, this week we are reacting to episode 17. And last time, Yor learned to cook. And yeah, I'm very happy for her. I'm very proud of her that she's actually learning to cook something. It's only one thing for now, but hey, one thing is progress. It is like notable progress. And so the question now comes down to what are we going to have this week? There's a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different ideas for what they could continue to do. They brought Bond into the family, and so there's more they could do with him. There's more they could do just with all of these characters. Plus, we still have to have Anya do more to achieve the goal of Operation Strix, which, she is not supposed to know about, but does because of her powers. But, she's still trying to figure things out, trying to get the stars and everything. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see where this goes. But I'm excited. I very much enjoy this series, so I'm happy to see more. I'm happy to see how this goes down. And I apologize for the lighting in here. It's pretty dark in here because it's pretty overcast outside. Because unfortunately, I pretty much have to rely almost entirely on natural lighting. And natural lighting in this room, in this house, kind of sucks ass. Especially when it's overcast and shit outside. But then at times it can also get way too bright, There's not really much I can do right now. Maybe at some point I'll end up getting stuff like a ring light and whatnot, and that will help. But just, we can't right now. I put it on my Christmas list, and that I gave to my sister and whatnot, so maybe I'll end up getting it. I don't know. But yeah. So we'll see how that all goes down. With the series, I mean. We'll see how it all goes down, and hopefully we get more good stuff with all of our family. Whether it's Lloyd, Yor, Anya, Bond, doesn't matter. As long as we have less Yuri, I am good, because he is still fucking creepy. He wasn't as bad last episode when he was there to help taste test Yor's food, but it still reached uncomfortable levels when it's like, oh, he's literally poisoning himself and like causing himself to throw up just because he doesn't want to disappoint Yor, and it's just like saying her food's good, just even though it's absolutely horrific. And apparently it's been doing that since childhood and everything. It's like, Jesus fuck. It's like, I know you two basically only had each other, but that's not healthy for anyone. That's not okay. That's not a good thing. But either way, we're just going to get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. Also, I noticed I have this at the straightforward view and not the side view. It's because of something I was recording before this, but oh well. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So there was a post-credits scene, but it was dumb, so it's not really that big of a deal that I missed it. Basically, it just showed the history of, like, Yuri trying out Yor's cooking. It really didn't even fit with this episode. Like, it would have made sense for last episode, but it's like, why was it here? It really didn't make any sense or have any connection to this episode at all. Like, Yor wasn't even in this episode. or Yuri until that point. It just like, oh, we saw like flashbacks to when he first tried Yor's cooking, her bad cooking. He pretended to like it just because he likes her and everything, and it explains that she slapped him one time because he said like this would get her married for sure, and she was embarrassed and everything, and apparently that's how he became so physically tough. I don't know. It was stupid. It was dumb. It was completely unfitting for this episode. Um, it really wasn't worth reacting to. So, I there was nothing to it. Let's actually talk about the episode though. So, once again, it's kind of split up a little bit here. Most of the episode focuses on Anya trying to get into Damian's good graces and get him to, introduce her to his father and everything. Go with the plan and everything to help with Operation Strix. And so they're in class. They're going to be doing these like 3D paper craft animals, and Damian wants to make a Griffon. So Anya decides to try and help him with that. Meanwhile, you have Becky, who develops a childhood crush on Lloyd after seeing a picture of him, and it's like, yeah, it's a genuine thing that kids go through. It's like when kids are young, they're like, oh, my teacher's so pretty, I like her, I want to marry her someday. It's like it's an innocent, dumb thing because kids are innocent and dumb. They don't understand what that all completely means and what love really is, and they say this stuff because they're so innocent, and it's like they'll see people in love in the real world, and they think they can be in love with people too at that point, but they can't because they're so fucking young at that point, and it's like they don't know what love means or anything, and they're kids, they're still developing. It's a childhood crush. It's completely innocent and everything. It's not meant to be taken in any weird way, so no issue there. But we see that Becky chooses to make Lloyd for her papercraft project and uses the excuse that humans are animals, and oh god, what is his name? I can't think of his name. But he's like, yeah, well, fuck, I can't argue with that. He's like, that's actually completely correct. But yeah, so Anya initially makes a really crappy papercraft bond because we know she's not very artistically inclined, like myself. But then she tries to help Damian with his Griffon and decides to change her papercraft bond into a female Griffon to help him when things don't go exactly according to plan. And somehow they end up winning because reasons. Like the logic behind it was completely ridiculous, and made no sense whatsoever. But sure. Why the hell not? And then the rest of the episode was like lightly focused on Sylvia, aka Handler, and Lloyd. And we saw Sylvia do her take at being the master of disguise and all, but she left the tag on her jacket and everything. But it did work outside of that. Like, she was able to get past the two guys tailing her. And we see how she and Lloyd communicate and everything, and it was a very minor part of this episode, all things considered, but it was interesting to see. Also, we learned a little bit more about Sylvia, that she's, because of her status and how good she is, like, as a handler for Wise, she's become known as the Full Metal Lady, and it's like that's a badass nickname, and again, it just kind of makes me think of Full Metal Alchemist. Um, but yeah, either way, this was a fun episode. Nothing spectacular, nothing great. But it was simple and just kind of the same stuff that we've seen before. Where that will go, who knows? We'll see. Excuse me. We'll see if any of this does actually end up becoming important, or if it progresses anything in the future. We did get a little bit of Damian's daddy issues in this, which is something we've known about before, but like really got like hammered in once again and showed like how deep it is and how neglectful his father is of him. And again, it doesn't excuse his behavior or his actions, but it does kind of make you feel a little bad for him. Just because it's like it's never great to see a kid going through something like that. Neglectful parenting is abusive parenting. It is a type of abuse, and that's not okay. And in general, it's pretty understood that when kids act out that way, they learn it from someone. Damian's acting out, Damian's bullying is probably because of how he's treated and how he's seen others around him act. Like he has like rich assholes around him all the time, so he's going to probably take a lot from that. And a lot of these kids would. Not all of them, of course. We see examples of that. We see Becky is actually extremely nice and caring. But she also has a little bit of a greedy side to her. And definitely has a very high sense of herself, we'll just say. So it's like, even the nicer ones, like her, it's like, they still get that negative influence in there. So it's like, it's just upsetting. It's upsetting to see, because it's like these kids aren't like being allowed to just be kids for the most part. They're being raised in such, like, with such high expectations that they don't get a chance to just, be kids. They have to like do all this stuff to constantly impress not only their parents but the high society, and as such they're forced into, in a way, growing up too fast, you could say. It's like these are like, what, 7-year-old kids around that age, and it's like, it's Jesus. A little 7-year-old girl like should be watching cartoons and stuff, not romantic dramas. And mind you, if a 7-year-old likes that stuff and wants to watch that stuff, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess, as long as it's appropriate. But the kids should be watching stuff for kids, That's what that content is made for. It's just sad to see kids raised like that. Not just with the romantic dramas, but in general, with like kids being raised into wealth and expectation like that. And especially with parents who are abusive. But yeah, we'll see how this continues to go, and hopefully it leads to a good season finale. Either way, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Spy Family? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.